All right, come sit down because we need to talk about the tools, the actual physical hold it in your hands tools that are running handmade businesses in 2026. Whether you make jewelry, candles, clothing, resin pieces, wood signs, or anything in between, this list has something for you. Let's get into it. Tool number one, a cutting machine, Cricut or Silhouette Cameo. If you don't have a cutting machine yet and you run a handmade business, I honestly don't know how you're surviving. These things are the backbone of so many product types: stickers, vinyl decals, iron-on transfers, custom packaging, paper goods, fabric pieces, leather work, and the precision you get from a machine versus cutting by hand is night and day. Now, the two names you're going to hear everywhere are Cricut and Silhouette Cameo, and people have very strong opinions about which one is better. Here's the honest breakdown. Cricut, specifically the Maker 3, is beginner-friendly. The software, called Design Space, runs in your browser, it's intuitive, and it walks you through everything. Great for someone just getting started. Silhouette, specifically the Cameo 5, is the one more serious business makers tend to graduate to. It has up to 5,000 grams of cutting force, cuts materials up to 16 feet long without a mat, and the design software, Silhouette Studio, gives you far more control, especially if you're doing sticker shops or sign work. The Cameo 5 also has no subscription fee required, which matters when you're watching margins. My take: if you're brand new and just want to get cutting, start with Cricut. If you're running volume and want maximum control, Silhouette Cameo is worth the slightly steeper learning curve. Tool number two, a heat press. A heat press is not optional if you're doing any kind of custom apparel, tote bags, hats, or sublimation products. And honestly, the range of what falls under heat press territory is growing. T-shirts, hoodies, mugs, mouse pads, tumblers, pillow covers, phone cases. If you're customizing any of those, you need one. The Cricut EasyPress SE is the entry-level crowd favorite. It's compact, heats up in about 60 seconds, has precise temperature control, and pairs with the Cricut Heat app to automate your settings so you're not guessing. Good for small batch home studio use. If you're doing higher volume and want something more industrial, look at the HTVRONT Auto Heat Press. It's 15 by 15 inches, has auto release, and heats up fast and evenly, which matters enormously because uneven heat distribution is what gives you those frustrating half-transferred designs. And for professional or business scale pressing, the Hotronix Fusion is what serious operators use. It comes with pressure gauges and precise controls, so there's genuinely no guesswork. One thing I want you to understand: a heat press is not the same as an iron. It's not even close. The consistent, even pressure and temperature is what makes the transfer bond correctly and last through washing. Don't try to shortcut this one. Tool number three, a sublimation printer. This goes hand in hand with your heat press, and if you're not already doing sublimation, let me make the case for why you should be thinking about it. Sublimation printing allows you to print full-color designs that permanently bond into the material, not onto it. That means no cracking, no peeling, no fading. The colors are vivid in a way that vinyl just cannot replicate. The two most recommended sublimation printers for small handmade businesses are the Epson EcoTank ET2803, converted for sublimation, an affordable entry point, and the Sawgrass SG500, which is purpose-built for sublimation from the factory, meaning no conversion needed, excellent color accuracy, and it works beautifully for products like mugs, tumblers, coasters, phone cases, and fabrics with at least 65% polyester content. The Sawgrass is the more reliable business tool of the two. You're not fighting third-party ink compatibility issues. Important note: sublimation only works on light-colored polyester-coated surfaces. That's why you see sublimation sellers specifically stocking polyester-coated tumblers, white polyester shirts, and specially coated hard goods. Know your material before you invest. Okay, this is the one that changes businesses. If you've been on the fence about getting a laser engraver, I need you to really listen to this part. Laser engravers let you personalize wood, leather, acrylic, glass, metal, coated items, and more with a level of precision and speed that is simply not possible by hand. custom wooden signs, engraved cutting boards, personalized jewelry, engraved tumblers, acrylic keychains. All of it becomes your product lineup the moment you own one of these machines. In 2026, the brand that dominates conversations among maker business owners is Xtool. Their lineup covers pretty much every budget and production need. For someone who wants to start a laser engraving business or sell at craft fairs, the Xtool F1 is exceptional. It's portable at just over 2 kilograms, operates at a blazing 4,000 millimeters per second, and because it's enclosed, it's safer for home use. Real jewelry business owners are literally taking this thing to pop-up markets and engraving customer names on pieces right there on the spot. That's a revenue moment you can't replicate with most tools. If you're doing serious volume or working with a wider range of materials, including thicker wood and acrylic, the Xtool P2 CO2 laser is the go-to. It has an 80-watt laser, a 36 by 18-inch work area, and it handles wood, acrylic, leather, fabric, and even slate. Woodworkers especially love this machine because it can cut intricately shaped designs through materials in minutes that would take hours by hand. And then there's the Xtool F2 Ultra. This is the professional tier. It runs a 60-watt MOPA fiber laser combined with a 40-watt diode laser, which means it can do deep metal engraving, color engraving on stainless steel, and cut through 2 millimeters of brass, stainless steel, or aluminum. Tom's Hardware called it purpose-built for production work in their January 2026 review. If you're in jewelry making and you're engraving metal tags, rings, or pendants with names and dates for customers, this machine is the kind of investment that pays itself back very quickly. Tool number 5, a rotary tool or a Dremel. A rotary tool, and most people know this by the brand name Dremel, is one of those things that almost every maker ends up reaching for, regardless of what they make. It's a handheld, high-speed spinning tool that takes different attachments: cutting wheels, grinding bits, polishing heads, engraving tips. Jewelers use it to polish metals, smooth solder joints, and engrave small details. Woodworkers use it for detail carving and sanding tight corners. Resin artists use it to drill holes in cured pieces for jewelry findings. Leather workers use it for edge finishing. It is genuinely one of the most versatile tools in any handmade studio. The Dremel 4300 is the current workhorse model. It accepts all Dremel attachments, has variable speed from 5,000 to 35,000 RPM, and the pivot light shows you exactly where you're working. It's not glamorous, but it solves problems for every craft. Tool number 6, a quality sewing machine. Now, sewing machines are their own universe, and I'm not going to pretend there's one perfect answer for everyone here. But if your handmade business touches fabric in any way, clothing, tote bags, pouches, quilts, plush toys, home decor, you need a machine that can keep up with production, not just hobby projects. For home studio handmade businesses, the Brothers CS7000X and the Janome HD3000 are consistently recommended as the sweet spot between price and durability. If you're doing embroidery or want to add monogramming to your products, a machine with built-in embroidery capability like the Brother SE700 opens up a whole new product category. Embroidered patches, personalized towels, custom hats, all of that becomes available to you. One thing to emphasize, the difference between a hobby sewing machine and a business sewing machine is how it handles sustained use. Home machines that aren't designed for volume will overheat, skip stitches, and break down under the kind of repetition a business demands. Invest in a machine that's rated for the workload you're actually putting it through. Tool number 7, a resin starter kit, UV at epoxy. Resin has become one of the most versatile mediums in the handmade space, and for good reason. Jewelry, coasters, bookmarks, phone grips, keychains, trays, art pieces, even furniture inlays. The range of products you can make with resin is enormous. There are 2 main types you need to understand. Epoxy resin is a 2-part system. You mix resin and hardener, pour it, and wait for it to cure over hours or days. It's great for deeper pours, casting molds, and making pieces with inclusions like dried flowers, glitter, or metallic pigments. UV resin, on the other hand, cures in seconds under a UV lamp, which is ideal for small jewelry pieces, bezels, and detail work where you need to move fast. UV resin is what a lot of jewelry makers use for production because you're not waiting overnight between pours. For UV resin, you'll pair it with a UV nail lamp, the same kind used in nail salons, which cures pieces in 30 to 60 seconds. Art Resin and Let's Resin are two of the most consistently recommended brands for both epoxy and UV work. Key point: always work in a ventilated space, use nitrile gloves, and protect your eyes. Uncured resin is a skin sensitizer, and this isn't something to be casual about. Tool number 8, a UV lamp for resin curing. I'm giving this its own number because jewelry and resin makers specifically should understand why this matters beyond just it cures resin. A good UV lamp, 48 watts or higher, is what separates professional production pace from a hobbyist pace. A lamp that's too weak will undercure your pieces, leaving them sticky and prone to warping or yellowing over time. And undercured resin that a customer wears as jewelry against their skin, that's a real problem. The Sun UV Sun 4S and similar professional-grade 48-watt UV lamps are what serious resin jewelers use. They cure thoroughly from all angles, handle larger pieces, and have a timer built in, so you're not guessing. If you're going to sell resin products, don't cut corners on the curing lamp. Tool number 9, a precision scale. This one gets overlooked constantly, and it drives me a little crazy because it's one of the cheapest tools on this list, and it affects your product quality and your profit margins simultaneously. If you make candles, soap, bath bombs, resin pieces, or any formulated product, you need a precision scale, not a kitchen scale, a precision scale that measures to 0.1 grams or better. Candle making requires exact fragrance load ratios relative to your weight. Too little and you lose scent throw, too much and you create a fire hazard. Soap making with lye requires precise measurements for safety and for correct saponification. Resin requires accurate mix ratios to cure properly. Bath bomb formulations need consistent measurements to reproduce results. The American Weight Scales AWS 1 kilogram BLK and similar jeweler-grade precision scales are under $20 and will save you money in wasted materials alone within the first few months. Just get one.
Tool number 10, a heat gun. A heat gun is one of those tools that sounds specific but ends up being useful across almost every handmade craft. It's not a hairdryer. It runs at much higher temperatures, typically between 120 degrees F and 1100 degrees F, and it serves a very different purpose. Candle makers use heat guns to smooth tops of candles after they've set, removing sinkholes and frosting without having to do a second pour. Resin artists use heat guns to pop surface bubbles immediately after pouring before the resin gels. Soap makers use heat guns for gel phase in cold process soap. Vinyl crafters use them to help heat transfer vinyl conform around curved surfaces. Embossing artists use them to set embossing powder on cards and paper crafts. Woodworkers use them to strip paint and bend thin wood strips. The Wagner Spraytech HT1000 is reliable, widely used by makers, and affordable at around $30 to $40. It's one of those "why didn't I get this sooner" purchases for most makers. Tool number 11, good lighting, a ring light or a light box. Let me be direct. Your product photography is part of your product. A beautiful handmade item photographed under bad lighting will not sell as well as an average item photographed beautifully. And in 2026, your listing image is the first thing a buyer judges before they even read a single word you've written. Two tools solve this. A ring light, something in the 18-inch range, gives you even, flattering light for photographing small products and for any video content you create showing your process. A light box, also called a photo tent, is a small collapsible box with built-in lighting that gives you a clean, consistent background for product shots. It eliminates shadows, normalizes the color of your images, and makes all your listing photos look cohesive. You don't need a professional camera. A modern smartphone with a ring light or light box will produce images that are genuinely good enough for Etsy, Shopify, and social media. The HP USN Softbox or a basic foldable light box from Anywhere will run you $30 to $80 and change how your products photograph completely. Tool number 13, silicone molds. This applies directly to resin artists, candle makers, soap makers, and bath bomb creators, but also increasingly to concrete makers, wax melt sellers, and chocolate crafters. Silicone molds are what let you reproduce a consistent shape reliably at scale without cracking or tearing during release. The key properties to look for are food-grade silicone, important even if you're not making edibles because it indicates material purity, flexibility for easy demolding, and high heat tolerance, at least 450 degrees F, so you can use it for both resin pours and hot wax or soap. Brands like Let's Resin, Acrux 7, and Fun Showcase make mold sets that cover most popular product shapes. And if you have a specific shape in mind that isn't commercially available, custom silicone molds can be ordered, or you can make your own mold using 2-part mold-making silicone, which is a skill worth learning if you're serious about unique product shapes. Tool number 14, a jeweler's torch. For anyone making metal jewelry or wanting to, a jeweler's torch is the tool that takes your work from assembled to fabricated. Soldering, annealing metal to make it workable, fusing fine silver, doing granulation work, none of that is possible without controlled heat. The Blazer GB 2001 butane microtorch is a popular entry point. It's affordable, refillable, and precise enough for small jewelry work and silver soldering. If you're working with heavier gauge metals or doing more involved fabrication, the Smith Little torch with a proper propane oxygen setup gives you far more temperature control and flame range. A torch also enables wax carving for lost wax casting if that's in your future, which is how some of the most intricate jewelry pieces in the world are made. This is a tool with a high skill ceiling, but even basic soldering dramatically expands what you can make and sell. Tool number 15, pliers and wire tools, jewelry specific. Every jeweler knows this. You cannot make quality jewelry with hardware store pliers. They're too thick, they're not shaped correctly, and they'll mar your metal. Jewelry-specific pliers, flat nose, chain nose, round nose, and nylon jaw are what give you control over wire wrapping, opening and closing jump rings cleanly, forming loops, and bending metal without leaving tool marks. Beadsmith and Huron make consistently well-regarded jewelry pliers that hold their tension without being prohibitively expensive. A flush cutter is also non-negotiable. It lets you cut wire flush to a surface without leaving a sharp tail that scratches skin. If you sell wire-wrapped jewelry and a customer gets a scratch from an improperly finished wire end, that's a review you don't want.
Tool number 15, a bandsaw or scroll saw for woodworkers. If your handmade business involves wood, signs, home decor, functional items, ornaments, toys, you need a cutting tool beyond a handsaw. The two most common shop saws for small makers are the bandsaw and the scroll saw, and they serve different purposes. A bandsaw cuts through thick lumber quickly and is great for rough shaping and resawing boards. A scroll saw uses a fine reciprocating blade to cut intricate, detailed curves and interior cutouts, which is what you need for decorative wood pieces, interlocking designs, name puzzles, and ornamental work. The DeWalt DW788 scroll saw is a workhorse that woodworking business owners use consistently. For a maker who wants to do detail work like custom wooden name puzzles, home decor cutouts, or layered art pieces, a scroll saw will become one of the most used tools in your shop. Tool number 16, a reliable glue system. This sounds boring. It's not. The wrong adhesive will destroy your product, and more importantly, it will destroy your reputation when a customer's purchase falls apart. And in the handmade space, there's no one-size-fits-all glue. You need to understand what you're bonding and choose accordingly. E6000 is the go-to craft adhesive for jewelry making, bonding cabochons, adhering embellishments, and anything that needs a flexible, waterproof bond. It's what you reach for when you need the bond to hold under real-world conditions. For woodworking joints under stress, Titebond 3 is the industry-standard waterproof wood glue. For fast bonds on non-porous surfaces, acrylic to acrylic, metal to metal, you want a cyanocrylate or super glue with a gap-filling formula. And for heat-resistant bonds in candle making, like adhering wicks to molds, a low-temperature hot glue gun does the job cleanly. Keep multiple adhesive options in your studio. The right adhesive for each job is what keeps your products together through everyday use, through weather changes, and through being handled by real people. Tool number 17, a label printer. If you package and ship your own products, a label printer is going to become one of the most satisfying purchases you ever make. Printing labels from a regular inkjet printer, cutting them out and sticking them on packages by hand is slow and looks unprofessional. A dedicated label printer produces clean, consistent, smudge-proof labels in seconds. The Rollo label printer and the Dymo Label Writer 4XL are the two most used in the handmade seller community. Both print 4 by 6 inch shipping labels on thermal paper, no ink required, and connect via USB. They're compatible with Etsy, Shopify, Pirate Ship, and most shipping platforms, so you print directly from your order dashboard. Labels for product packaging, ingredient lists, custom branding stickers, and thank you seals can also be printed on the smaller Dymo formats. The moment you start using a label printer, you'll wonder how you ever packaged orders without one. Tool number 18, a weed tool and transfer tape for vinyl work. If you have a cutting machine and you're working with adhesive vinyl or heat transfer vinyl, these two things are non-negotiable. Weeding is the process of removing the negative vinyl around your cut design, and without a proper weeding hook, you're fishing around with your fingernail trying to lift tiny letters and thin lines, which takes forever and causes errors. A quality weeding tool, the Cricut Weeder or the widely loved Fisker set, has a fine hook that gets under the vinyl cleanly and lifts it without distorting the pieces you want to keep. Transfer tape then picks up your design from the backing and lets you apply it precisely to your surface. Using cheap or wrong transfer tape is how you get bubbles, misalignment, and designs that lift at the edges within days. Olympic and Expressions Vinyl are two transfer tape brands that makers trust consistently. These are small, inexpensive tools that have a huge impact on the quality of your final vinyl product. Tool number 19, an embossing heat tool. For makers working in paper crafts, greeting cards, gift tags, packaging inserts, hand-lettered stationery, an embossing heat tool is what transforms your work from flat print to tactile, professional-feeling product. You apply embossing powder to wet ink, then hit it with the heat tool and it melts into a raised, glossy, or metallic finish that simply cannot be replicated any other way. The Ranger Heated Craft Tool is the most consistently recommended in the paper craft community. It heats quickly, has a concentrated nozzle that directs heat precisely, and doesn't create so much airflow that it blows your powder off the paper. Paired with clear embossing powder on a stamped ink design or gold embossing powder on a hand-lettered piece, you get a finish that looks high-end and handcrafted simultaneously, which is exactly what customers in the stationery and greeting card market are paying for. Tool number 22, a digital caliper or precision ruler. Making things that fit, lids that close, closures that clasp, rings that are actually the size stated, boxes with the right dimensions, requires accurate measurement. A digital caliper is a tool that gives you measurements to 0.01 millimeters precision. That's not overkill. For jewelry sizing, for cutting materials to exact dimensions, for checking that molds are producing consistent output, precision measurement matters. The eye-gauging EP54 digital caliper is a solid, affordable option used widely in maker circles. In woodworking, a combination square and marking gauge will be your tools. In sewing, a clear ruler and a seam gauge are what keep your cuts and stitches consistent. The specific tool matters less than the principle. In a handmade business, guessing measurements produces inconsistent product, and inconsistent product produces customer complaints. Tool number 21, a reliable heat-resistant workspace surface. This one surprises people, but it matters enormously for safety and for the longevity of your tools. If you're using a heat press, a soldering iron, a heat gun, a torch, a glue gun, or a laser engraver, you need a surface that can handle heat without warping, catching, or releasing toxic fumes. A silicone craft mat is the standard answer for most studio surfaces. They're heat resistant up to around 450 degrees Fahrenheit. They're non-stick, so resin and adhesives peel right off. They're easy to clean, and they protect your table. For laser engravers specifically, a honeycomb working bed is what you need. It elevates your material so the laser doesn't bounce back off a solid surface and burn the underside of your work. X-Tool and most laser manufacturers sell honeycomb beds specifically sized for their machines. This is not an accessory, it's a functional necessity. Tool number 22, a candle pouring pot and the right thermometer. For candle makers specifically, these two tools determine whether your candles turn out consistently or not. A dedicated pouring pot, a tall, spouted, heat-resistant container, is what you melt and pour wax from. Using a regular pan is how you end up with drips everywhere, imprecise pours, and wax that's difficult to control. Look for stainless steel or aluminum pouring pitcher with a handle. The LX Houses and Candlewick pouring pitchers are both widely used in the candle-making community. They're heat-stable, easy to clean with wax, and the spout gives you control when pouring into narrow wick candle jars. The thermometer is equally critical. Wax has specific pour temperatures, and the fragrance oil you're using has a flash point. Pour too hot and you compromise the fragrance load. Pour too cold and you get poor adhesion to the container. A digital candy thermometer or an infrared thermometer, both read quickly and accurately, takes all the guesswork out of what should be a precise, repeatable process. Consistent temperature equals consistent product. Tool number 24, a good pair of fabric scissors and a rotary cutter. Sewing and textile makers don't come from me because you already know this, but for those newer to fabric work, fabric scissors should only ever cut fabric. The moment you use them on paper, tape, or anything else, you dull the blade. A dull blade drags fabric, frays edges, and makes cutting exhausting. Fiskars and Kai are the two most trusted fabric scissor brands for handmade business use. Kai especially gets consistent love from professional sewists for staying sharp under sustained use. Pair your fabric scissors with a rotary cutter, essentially a circular blade on a handle, a self-healing cutting mat, and a clear quilting ruler, and you have a cutting system that lets you cut fabric in long, straight lines far more precisely and quickly than scissors alone. This setup is standard for quilters, but it benefits anyone who's cutting large pieces of fabric for any product. It's faster, more accurate, and gentler on your hands than cutting yardage with scissors all day. Tool number 24, a packaging and presentation kit. Here's something that doesn't get talked about enough. The unboxing experience is part of your product. When a customer receives something in a plain brown bubble mailer with a handwritten address and no insert, it feels like a package, not a purchase. When they receive something in a branded box with tissue paper, a thank you card, a sticker, and their item wrapped cleanly, it feels like a gift. That feeling directly influences whether they leave a review, whether they buy again, and whether they recommend you to someone else. The physical tools for this are a bone folder for clean folds on tissue paper and cardstock, a tape gun for efficient packaging, a label maker for consistent address labels, a small stamp set for adding branded touches to craft packaging affordably, and access to wholesale craft boxes, tissue, and mailers. Uline and Nashville Wraps are the two most used wholesale packaging suppliers among small handmade businesses. Buy your packaging materials in bulk. The per unit cost difference is significant, and the consistency in your presentation pays for it. Tool number 25, a quality smartphone with a macro lens attachment. We're ending with this one because it serves double duty. It's how you photograph your products, and it's how you show the world what you make. In 2026, your phone is your content studio. Social media reels, TikToks, behind-the-scenes stories, product launches, packaging videos, tutorials, all of it runs through your phone. Modern smartphones from Apple and Samsung are genuinely capable of producing commercial quality images and video if you know how to use them. But the one attachment that changes the game specifically for handmade businesses, where the product details matter, is a macro lens clip. A clip-on macro lens fits over your existing phone camera lens and lets you get close-up, sharp, detailed shots of things like jewelry texture, embossed paper, resin inclusions, candle fragrance labels, wood grain, and fabric weave. These detail shots are what create desire in a potential customer. They make your product feel real and tactile through a screen. Moment and Zenvo make clip-on macro lenses that mount onto any phone case with a simple clip. They're under $50, and the difference in your close-up product photography will be immediately visible.